All right, well, good morning, Mook. What I'm doing this morning for you is the first leg or first installment or the first preparation for that stir fry I did yesterday. And I'm going to show you the ingredients. Okay, this is the bouillon. I used about, well, in your case, you're using a smaller pot. So you're going to use about 3 bouillon cubes. I chose beef this morning, beef flavor, and it has no real beef in it. So you have your cubes, you're ready. I'm going to add a little bit of the 5-spice powder, probably the tip of a teaspoon, some sesame oil, the equivalent of a tablespoon and a half. I'm going to be using this soy here, and I don't know if you can see this stuff, but I'm going to use that, and I'm going to use probably 2 tablespoons or 2.5 tablespoons. This ginger, ground ginger, I'm going to be using probably about a teaspoon. And the garlic is actually going to be roasted. Actually, I'm going to roast it in some hot oil in this pan right here. Then I'm going to take some of the bouillon and put it over there and mix it up and pour it back in the pan for the roasted garlic taste, giving the garlic soy effect, garlic soy ginger effect. Okay. I'm going to thicken it up using this cornstarch. I'm consistent with this. I tend to use this most times when I'm doing these gravies. And to start my process, I'm using this virgin oil I got from Costco. So I'm going to throw this in there, and I use about a serving spoon size. This oil is good for your bouillon because it doesn't have much oil at all in here. And that oil being an olive oil, it's not only good for you, but it helps your bouillon to break down and break down more easily when you're making your food preparations, like a stir fry, for instance. So I'm gonna get the process going. My bouillon is already started, which is good. And the first thing I'm going to do, I don't use measuring devices, as you know. None of us in the family do. So I'm going to take my little 5-spice, and I suggested a tablespoon tip. So this stuff is very, very strong. So that should do it for that. Yeah, tip of a tablespoon. So I'll put the top back on. Very strong. Keep that in mind. And I like to use my ginger next, so I see what I'm doing. And I'll drop, I think I said about a teaspoon of ginger in here. That's good. And get my garlic going over here. Just turn the fire on up under that. I have this towel there to balance my pan so it can cook relatively even. Because I have a history of doing this quite regularly, I kind of got an idea of how much stuff to use. But in your case, take your time. The information is there for you. Here is my soy. I said 2.5 tablespoons. That's probably 1.5. I need to add another one. Here's the other brand new one. So we're going to add another tablespoon. That'll do it. And if I need to add, and I also use this sesame oil, just a tad. I would say about a tablespoon. That's it. Let that thing cook up. I make it a little extra. I guess it would be strong, using the bouillon and all these ingredients, because the vegetables that I use are relatively fresh. They have their own most of the water that's going to be used here is going to come, or at least half of it's going to come from these veggies. So when I do stir fry them, so I make this strong, so as it starts to break down, it provides you with water. And if you need more, you can always add from the tap or whatever water source that you use. However, now that this oil is getting hot over here, I'm going to add a little bit of garlic to get that going. Put that in there like that. I use a significant bit because I love a garlic flavor, and garlic is also very good for you. All right, so there we go. I'm gonna let that turn a healthy shade of brown. And meanwhile, I have a little half a cup of water here. This is the starch the cornstarch that I'm using. I use a reasonable amount because I like it to thicken up. All right. Most people probably wouldn't use that much, and I may not need that much, but I'll have it on hand. Okay. This is I can smell it already. It's going to be quite tasty. Anyway, without further ado, I'm going to get this party started quickly. Right? Set it off to the left, y'all. Set it up. I'm making a mess, but a mess ain't the worst thing I can make. Yeah, that's browning up real nice over there, as you probably can see. Let me clean this up. Okay. You don't want it to cook and turn very brown because that's unhealthy. Matter of fact, it'll make your food taste bitter. So as this heats up a little bit, as a matter of fact, let me go over here, turn this fire off, turn it brown, take this off. I'll be right back. It's nice and brown. I'm going to take some of this before it thickens up. Bring it over here. And what I did was I just took some of the gravy, poured it into the frying pan that I was browning or roasting or brewing the garlic with, so I can bring it back on over here and allow it to continue to cook with the garlic flavor. So now that's all, so that's good to go. This is heating up nicely, coming along really good. Wonderful, 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 wonderful. Add a little more of the starch cocktail. That should come together quite nicely. And as that is doing its thing, I like to round off those edges with a little sweetener, and this is raw agave. I tend to use as much organic stuff as I can, but I'll add, let's say I'll add a tablespoon to this and a half. There you go. That'll do it. And I'll be right back. Stir that up a little bit. And now I take my Rude garlic. Bring it on over. Pour it in there. So now you have your garlic, your ginger, your sesame. Garlic, your ginger, your sesame, and your soy. A little bit of agave to sweeten it up. Fancy up your taste a little bit. And you can do whatever you want after that. You can add that to, put it over rice. You can put it over just about anything you want. And while this is cooking, I don't necessarily advise you to do what I'm about to do because it is risky. If you have a whisker for your pot, I encourage you to use that. And what I mean by, a little whisker that you stir your pot with. Me, I get a little risky and I pop this in there. All right, this is just a process going. Dressed accordingly, use a bib, whatever you have there, convenient, because it's important that this stuff don't splash up on you. And that's it. That is as risky as I get. All right, I'll be right back after these messages. And okay, looks like job pretty much well done. So what I'll do now is move this stuff over to the sink. Be right back. And I'll slide some of this stuff back to make some counter space so you could see the finished product. Your finished product. This is just the regular little storage I'll use to cool it down for now, but this is just a piece of Tupperware I have here. I'm gonna get my spoon, if I could find it, and get this stuff out of there. Oh, gotta taste it first to make sure it's where I want it to be. Actually, it's a little stronger than I want it to be, but that's good. Because with it being a little stronger, it'll go over very well. A little more agave, so that'll probably be 2.5 to 3 tablespoons of agave. And I think I got it. This is good to go. We are good to go. I can pour this in there and just let it cool on down. And that'll be all of that. So now you got your gravy. Now, with this gravy, now that you're nice and all done, after it cools, it's going to gel like any other gelatin, and you can spoon out, 2 serving spoon sizes, 3 for whatever meal size that you want. And then once it gets going, it should break down relatively easy with a little bit of heat. Well, a lot of heat. You can throw your veggies in there and do your thing. All right. Love you, kiddo. Peace and blessings. And that's all for today.